Hi, Master Peter Brusso here with Harry. We're back again. By the way, Harry, do you know this is podcast number 6?
We're getting there.
Yes, we are. I was minus some podcasts in my head count somewhere along the way, but
Right.
we'll have quite the little podcast here from Defender Central today. First up on the deck, I want to show everyone the website for a second. All right, we're on the website. I want to show, I got up the tie-dye Defenders one of a kind. We'll go over and take a look at that. And here we are. And I realized when I put in all the pictures, I've got the little holder in here. So I had to get a disclaimer. None of these tie-dyed Defenders come with the holder. That you purchase separately. But I got this kind of format down where we have two different tie-dye methods, it looks like. The dot method. So I've got the paint style dot. This is Defender 1. Here's the price. You click here, and it will take you over to a purchase page. And there it is. You add it to the cart, etc. So you can buy it. You can get a closer look at it if you like. And then also over here, if you click on the picture, you get a really nice picture. Isn't that gorgeous?
Looks
So
great.
you can really now I got to move this. You can really get in a chance to see what that is. So we've got here's another tie-dye dot color, and then we have kind of sort of after you the cosmic version. And it looks like the cosmos. If you look out in space, you can see the gas and stuff like that. So we're calling this the cosmic style. Here's another one. And these have already been done, so they're up for sale. I'm still getting the page up where you can select what you want. That should have had up this week, but had other things happening. Here's an owl. And then I started numbering them on the pictures. So this number 5 goes with number 5. So when we fill the order, all I have to do is say, hey, number 6. They don't have to look for this. They already know what it is to package it. So here's a dot version of the Extraordinary Traveler, Extraordinary Typhoon, and of course our Swan, which is gorgeous. And then and here's an Eckmeyer. I moved the Eckmeyer actually onto my computer so they could see it, what it looks like with the kanji and everything. And you can see it's more expensive because the kanjis are $10 more. Basically, it's a base unit plus whatever. Paint jobs are 10, kanjis 10. It's pretty easy to figure that out. Look at this one. This is crazy. Yeah, it's a Defender of the Year in a dot style. Pretty nice.
Very nice.
And our new one, the Freya. And we named this after my granddaughter, Freya, on Paige's
I like
side.
it.
Yep, Paige's got two daughters, Caroline and Freya. And Caroline's already got a book dedicated to her and a bunch of other stuff. So I looked at this, and the name Freya, by the way, means God of War in Viking. So she was named after a god of war. I looked that up a bit. So that's very apropos with all of the nooks and crannies of pain there. Again, here's a almost kind of cross between a dot and a cosmic with the first try at a kanji, and you can see the kanji's kind of washed out ever so slightly there. Not bad when you get close up to it. You can still see it, but it is one of a kind. Just it is. And then this one sold out right off the bat to Renee. We're going to talk about Renee here in a little bit. And then, of course, here's a kanji version here, which looks pretty nice from that standpoint. So that, and I'm going to add more every week. So that's My one-of-a-kind Defenders page is up finally, thanks to the stone, and we'll talk about the carnelian stone a little later in the show. So, what do you think about all those tie-dyes?
I love him. I think he's been doing a great job with letting his creativity roll with paint jobs and everything. I think everything is looking great.
Yeah, it looks good, and I got um, here's the Freya version I just showed, but I also have. Well, let me show you these. These are interesting. I just took these pictures, so you're going to see a not this time, but up on the web. Here's a clear version, and here's how it goes, to tie dye. So let me share my screen. Some one of these is blurry, like that one, I believe. Yeah. So can you see my screen? Okay, here.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
looks great.
yeah. So this is a typhoon tie dyed,
Very nice.
and that's the second picture of it. Always take two. Here's the Freya tie dyed. Always take two. Here's a typhoon again. Here's an Eckmeyer. That's, let me see the other. Yeah, they're about the same, but you can really see the colors in that. Very nice. A Ninja, thin, I think. It may be thick. I'm not sure. It's thin. And then a Dragon Edge. Very nice. A Traveler. Nice color. And yeah, I know. And then this is pretty spectacular. Look at the whisks and stuff in this one, little whisks of paint moving along. So this is the twin Dragon Edge. Those are gorgeous, though, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Any thoughts, questions on those tie-dye colors and process and anything like that?
Well, you actually took me through the process and had me create the CD and had me create one of your coasters. So I actually got the privilege of actually making my own, which was very kind of you. It was wonderful, and I use them all the time.
Well, we're going to have you down this weekend. You were down just a few hours ago, but
Yeah,
come down and we'll make a tie-dyed version of something for you, and then you'll just go crazy over it.
yeah. Maybe we'll work with a Freya with the HK extension.
Yeah. Okay. Could do
We'll think
that.
about that.
Yeah. No, we could do that. I'll have Ruben make a Freya in clear so we can try that. And so maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
We'll see.
We can
We'll
do that. So
go from
all
there.
right. All right. So next up on my deck here is Renee. All right. So a person named Renee, I won't use her last name. But she had purchased a Kanji Defender 2 and two swans, and she got four videos actually. So that all went out, I think, Wednesday-ish, and I got a maybe Tuesday-ish. So and she's from Colorado. So I got this email that she's missing the DVDs for the videos, and that she thought she had ordered three um, swans, but actually went back and she only ordered two. So she thought she had one more coming. Is there another package? Oh, I jumped right on that. I love customer service, man. I'm right on it.
Sure.
And so I gathered their telephone numbers, because a lot of times when you send an email to them, it goes in their junk spam box, just like you had. Yep. And so here I'm communicating. They don't know it. So if I think that's happening, I pick up the phone and call them. And so I called her yesterday, and she was taken back that I called her, Master Brusso, because, and I've had that a lot, you know, you get to be a miniature icon to people, and the fact that you answer your own telephone or talk to them about their own orders is like it's mind blowing for them, and probably rightfully so in some way. But we got talking, and she is an older person like myself. And she went through how she studied martial arts and who she did with. Well, the very similar groups and styles that I did at the same period of time. And it's like, whoa, that's unusual. And then she said she was getting into Filipino stick fighting, which is here we go again. So we had like a parallel path. She's a nurse, I'm an EMT. Just it was just weird, weird in a good way. And
Sure.
the more we talk, the more it's like, are you my sister or something? And so we just had the greatest talk. They live in a place called Colorado, and her house sits at 8,200 feet in elevation.
Wow.
That's up there. And of course, I
Yeah.
was raised in Lake Tahoe at 6,300 feet, so there's still another 2,000 above. And so we talked and talked and talked and talked. And then we started talking. Matter of fact, one of the questions, a fan question, is about remote viewing. So she was in the remote viewing. The First Earth Battalion got in the remote viewing, um, and I use it in a completely different way. And anybody that knows me shouldn't be shocked that I'm back asswards about on everything. Look at everything the opposite direction. And so I hope, it was introduced to her by her husband, Felix. And I don't know how Felix found us, but I want to get her on a podcast. Now, she doesn't have to do
I think that
video.
could be interesting.
Oh, shoot. It would be a very
Mhm.
fun podcast, I think, and inspiring for women as well. Here, I think she's a little over 5 foot tall. And we talked about Bruce Lee's 1 inch punch and all the mechanics of that. I mean, it was just spectacular to talk to somebody who had the knowledge that period of time with all these now super duper icons,
Sure.
In those days, they trained out of their garage, which is fine. Garage dojos are awesome. I've trained out of mine, So, but Renee was, and hopefully she's going to hear this and get inspired to get out. She goes, she's shy. So I'll consider throwing her or sending her a ninja balaclava so we can't see her. She'll just be all balaclava up,
Yeah.
or whatever. Can't be shy behind a mask. You've worn those, I'm sure, for the NYPD, and can't be seen mask. What do you guys call those?
Uh, The exact same thing.
Balaclavas?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's an authorized winter attire
Yeah.
for
Well.
NYPD. Yeah,
Yeah. No. So
in navy blue.
yeah. Well, ours are black, and ours pull over our head, so it goes around our neck. So if you need to walk through an area and not be all covered up, it goes around your neck, and then as soon as you need it again, it's back. Just pull it back up, and off you go. And of course, we wear hats at night to block the lights, and I'm getting lost in the part. But there's a lot of technology and all of that. So we might have
Sure.
to send her a balaclava to wear. I don't know. But anyway, it should be fun to try to get Renee um, on the podcast as a guest. I haven't actually pushed out. There's a couple of other guests I want to try to approach, um, and we'll see if we can't get them on as well. All right,
Sure.
now, so I was talking to one of our favorite clients, Deborah, and I I just got caught up with her. We usually talk once a week about Defenders. She's got more Defenders in her house than I do at my house. So just she's such a great believer. So I'm sitting here with a can of liquid death. Now, the story behind this, you met John. John was here for quite some time, and he bought a case of this liquid death thinking it was beer. Okay. It kind of looks
Yeah,
like beer.
it does.
And it was during the Coachella Fest time where everybody's buying water and whatnot. And the more different water possible, I guess is what they marketed this for. And, he drank one just to say he drank it. And it's spring water from Europe somewhere and left the rest for me because, I drink a lot of water. So I was drinking these, with ice and everything and just plain water. And I looked at that. And I love the name Liquid Death.
Sure.
So I had Ruben cut out the can part to Liquid Death. And I use this now, so you have to imagine that. Well, you've probably seen it over here. I
I
stick
have.
I stick my Defender in it and stick it on my computer, sitting in plain sight, right, with my Liquid Death can. But I showed this to Deborah, and Deborah said, "Oh, you can what you can do with that. We can get these retro cans of Coca-Cola. You can buy the retro cans, the cans only. The drink is already gone, and
Mhm.
modify them to put defenders in these things in a certain way." So she's actually looking into retro can of Coca-Cola that will hold your defender on your desk in plain sight, following in the whole concept of trying to get this one set of tools out to people to put in their workspace. So I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was pretty darn cool. That now I look at everything, including Gatorade, differently. I've been
Sure.
drinking a lot of the zero Gatorade for the electrolytes, and I'm going, well, we could probably do something. And I'm thinking maybe something that the tool slides in and is hanging out. I don't know. Might have to weight it down. I don't know yet. But anyway, so that was kind of interesting because if you can go on the web and look at these old tins. They're pressed tins for signs and things like that,
Sure.
old ones, and yet they have some cans and they have some bottles and hmm. Anyway, that I wanted to bring that up for fun.
Sure.
Any question on that before I leave it?
I think you covered it. Creative juices are definitely flowing.
Yeah. All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Carnelian. All right. So this week I resurrected the. We had a couple orders for mission specific packages, which now have the new clip um, involved. Okay, this new clip really grabs and holds on. So in the past, we have a skinnier clip that fits so nicely on your collar and did fairly well on your belt and other places, but superseded by this grabber. You don't lose this. It's not
Sure.
go, but you put this on your collar, and it's like you might as well undress yourself, to try to
Right.
get your tool out. And I thought, we need to resurrect the clip. And I said, well, I need to get two of these or three of these made. One, Ruben wears it all every day, and then you've got yours on,
Yes, I
and
do.
I've got mine on, and you kind of forget you even have it.
This is true. It's
Uh,
very
tell
comfortable.
tell me about you've been wearing it. Did you stick
Yes,
yourself? Well,
I
you
did not stick
reversed it.
myself. I reversed it just because I have big hands and it feels more comfortable in the other direction for me.
Right.
But I did do a little I did a little something for you just to show you what the future holds. See if you can get an idea. So let's
Back it
put
up a
some
little
behind
bit.
it.
Oh yeah. Well, there's
So
our.
we have some new abilities.
Oh, well, talk to us about that.
Yes. So in conjunction with Defender Central, we're working on some abilities to basically add the kanji or basically any personalization that you offer through that, and it'll give the ability for it to fit the tools that weren't able to have them on it before, and it kind of gave a lot of ideas. There's a lot of potential with what we got going with this. Uh, I told you about what I was thinking, and I did
Well,
work with some of the stuff.
Well, that's the next topic is your laser. So let's just do it
Yeah.
now.
All right. We'll
Let's
go
get
right in.
into it. So what are you doing with the laser, Harry? What are you thinking?
Well, the laser is going to be basically a tool to help persons personalize. And for our purposes, it's going to give the ability for me to cut logo, add signature kanji. It can work with your coasters. It can work for wall plaque. It could work for uh, the tools themselves. We were playing a little bit, and I worked with this just off of one of the ones you tested with me earlier.
Wow.
And yeah, this is what we can do. We took one of Ruben's beautiful pieces of artwork and really made it pop by
Yeah.
adding your kanji and your pdws.biz across the bottom. So
Yeah.
it has a lot of potential, and I tried it out with each of your different things. I did it with, and I'm not sure how good that comes out from this camera, but
Oh, you can
there's your
see it there nicely.
PDWS
Yeah.
right across your scored
Drink coaster.
drink coaster. So it has a lot of. Right now, I'm working on getting the settings down pat, but I'm getting there, and it's very very encouraging, and it's beautiful work. It has a lot of potential.
We could even put a company's name on there. I mean, if a company wanted to have these
Absolutely,
hide in plain sight drink coasters that break apart,
absolutely,
we could put
absolutely.
their website on there too. Let's see. Um, we can put signatures on ultimately in the future, right? Uh,
Absolutely. We
I
can put your autograph
sign
on there. There you
exactly,
go.
but people that design their own Defender program that I've got, we could put
Sure.
their signatures on their own tool.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Wow.
And for these hide in plain sight,
Yeah.
even if it was, Chairman Jones,
Right.
it could theoretically have Chairman Jones across the broad side of the Defender in its holder, and it's just a name tag. Can't get better with a hide in plain sight than something that's got your name across it.
Right.
So it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, no, that no, it certainly does. And then
Very excited.
we can put a Christian cross on it and I love you, Daddy on it and
Absolutely.
pass right.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. We have a lot of ideas. So personalized self-defense
Yeah.
is the
No
future.
kidding. Um,
Absolutely.
that's that's great. That's super. And talk a little bit about all the trials and tribulations you've had to go through to get your laser set up.
Oh my goodness. So, well, we can start from the beginning where it does cause fumes. So I originally started off with the plan being in the house, and it just is not possible. So caused modification to my garage and ventilation and everything else. And then now I'm working with testing materials, and I'm getting there. As we know, sometimes there's issues with clear. I've been working. I'm having a um, great results with the etching, the cutting of the clear as of this time at this level. I'm still working with it. It just seems a little more challenging, but I'll get past this with that. It kind of was going through it since it's clear and go actually instead of cutting it was shooting through it like a prism.
Yeah. No,
So
I kind of hedged you up that there's going to be some
yeah,
challenge with stuff like that.
but
Um, but you had to take your workshop, completely
yeah,
revamp it,
absolutely.
insulate it, air
Yep,
condition it, which you've got
yep,
by your cell phone. I mean, you have a lot of technology, fun stuff I'm watching going on there. We've got pads that
sure.
we can get to heat the computer, and stepper
Yeah, no,
motors. Yeah,
that is what we did. Was went with all the specifications to keep it at the proper temp. So it's running its own climate in the workshop to
yeah.
keep everything up to the computer. You needed a computer, the laser system, the extensions, the
And when
exhaust, new window.
And when we
Relation.
hit the beautiful weather here in a month and a half or two,
Yeah,
you'll be able to vent to the outside and enjoy
absolutely.
82 during the day and 40 at night.
Yes, sir.
For
Absolutely.
4.5 months at least.
Absolutely.
So that
Yeah.
was really cool to watch all that from my point of view. To
Yeah.
watch out. I said, hey, we got to calculate the current of the laser. Do we have
Yeah.
right circuits, and we have to add
Yeah.
more breaker? Yeah, we went through a whole list of things, and
Yeah.
so
Well, this has been an ongoing process that we kind of maybe gave little hints that something might be coming.
yeah,
You kind of knew where I was, the direction I was headed for our conjunction, and it's now coming to fruition. Now it's a matter of applying what I have to enhance what you have, which is great. I'm excited about the prospect.
yeah. No, this is great. Um, all right, next on the list, what is the crystal of the week?
Crystal of the week this week is Amazonite.
Okay.
Amazonite, and here is one of the Cosmic Vibes Amazonite custom bracelets. Amazonite is a powerful filtering agent. At a physical level, it blocks geopathic stress, absorbs microwaves, and cell phone emanations. It is to be placed between you and the source of any pollution or taped to a cell phone. At a mental level, it filters the information passing through the brain and combines it with intuition. It is an extremely soothing stone. It calms the brain from nervous energy. Interesting, interesting thing. It promotes balance and it acts as a filter. So, for our purposes, this is actually Jennifer's personal one, but she also has them available, and she loves it. She said it helps her maintain balance and keeps everything at a very level ease. And if you got something that's going to filter these microwaves and EMF from your phone and everything else, why wouldn't you have that? Everything you can protect yourself from is a bonus. So that's a great tool. It's beautiful too, the coloring and everything. So it's a nice, pretty stone.
While we're at this point, if
Yeah.
we're going to get into the fan mail, but one of the questions of the fan mail is where do they buy the crystals? So we might as well deal with that now.
Sure, sure.
Where do
Well,
they get the
we did.
crystals?
We do have them available at her Etsy shop at Cosmic Vibes TM Etsy
I think I have a link down
shop.
below. I have a link
You
down
and you
below.
have the link below, but she has it in her Etsy shop, and she has a lot of beautiful handcrafted, jewelry and crystals by themselves, and earrings, and you know, big crystals to little, you name it, we got it there. Check it out. You might see what you like.
Do you have personally or Jennifer have an email for that shop? So if the
Sure.
customers wanted to
Yeah.
email, what is that? Now, of course, I'll put it in.
It's Cosmic Vibes Crystals at gmail.com.
Okay, good. I'll make sure and capture that.
Yeah.
So if anybody is wondering where and what and this and that.
Sure, sure. No, that's absolutely. We would love all feedback and comments or even questions in regard.
Now, ultimately, you'll be able to put my name on this thing or
Absolutely. We would
my
be able to do
kanji
that.
on it.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes, we can
gosh,
engrave crystals as well.
that's
So that was
awesome.
another purpose from the Cosmic Vibes side of the HK Enterprises end of things is to be able to personalize crystals as well.
You remember we were moving down this way with some of
Yes.
our off-cut
Yes.
pieces.
Sure.
This would become our business card.
Yes.
So we're going to have to talk about getting pieces up to you to make our first
Absolutely.
business cards of pdws.biz. And finally,
I would
oh,
love to be involved with that, and
oh,
I'd be happy to help.
absolutely. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, Deborah is waiting for a sandwich bag sack of these kinds of things for her to hand out to
Sure.
all her friends. So we got people waiting for product.
Nice.
We have to find out what the prices are and things like that. But yeah, it was great. Oh, by the way, back to this tool, the
Yeah.
stealth. This
Yes.
stealth has saved more lives than all the other tools put together. Can you believe that?
Really.
Yeah,
It's I love the size and the lack of it. As much as the point is there, it
yeah,
I've been wearing it for over a week, and I have not gotten stabbed once. Um, I haven't felt any point. It's very light, and it really comes off very, very
easy.
easily.
Yeah, but I
And
mean, it doesn't fall off. You
oh, it
know,
has not. No, it has not
ah,
fallen off. And I've been using it doing work around the house. I have not taken it off because you wanted me to give it the full test, so I did. And it. I mean, when you do decide to conceal, I mean, literally, when you have my hand
yeah,
takes the entire thing, so you can't even. This is a beautiful hidden tool.
yeah. Interesting too. Of course, this is a fish descaler because we've got an edge on it, so you can it actually works. You can descale
Yeah,
fish, you can
sure,
slice open fish. You know,
sure.
it is a multi-purpose, plausible deniability tool. And one of the
Told you, it
stories,
looks like an East Coast ice scraper.
yeah, one of the stories up on the site. I have up on the site. I don't remember which number it is, but I'll maybe bring it up when we're talking which number it is. But this guy saved the life of a baby with this tool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite the story. And hi, Master Peter Brusso here, and tell you a story about the Stealth Defender. The Stealth has actually saved more lives than almost any other Defender added together. It's amazing what this thing has done. So, this gentleman lived up in Minnesota and had every tool that we made at the time. Went through a divorce. His wife threw him in the trash. So he was in IT. He moved to Texas, got a nighttime IT job. And so we'd gotten home, went to bed. They was trying to go to bed. And there was a big ruckus outside his door. So he got up, put his pants on, went and looked out those little peephole. And out there he saw three very large gentlemen and one very small baby, about 4 months old. And the baby was crying, and one of the gentlemen was smoking some kind of particular drug of choice and was blowing the smoke into the baby's face. And the baby stopped crying ultimately and then turned blue. At this point, looking through his little peephole, he calls 911 and they get the cavalry coming. And the 911 dispatcher said, "Do you know CPR?" And he goes, "Yes." And she goes, "Would you go out there and see if you can give CPR to the baby?" So out he went. That's got to be a good story in itself, but out he went. And he got the baby away from the one person and started checking pulses, and it was in some kind of cardiac arrest. And so he started to do compressions, little baby type compressions. And one of the guys grabs him from behind in a chokehold, starts to choke him to death. So he pulled out his defender, and it came out of his pants upside down, and he just slit right down the arm across the neck, filleted that arm open. Basically, it has a chisel edge on it, pretty nice, pretty sharp. And that guy let him go, so he continued to focus on the baby. And about that time, the police came in and got the guys, and what and the EMS got there, got the baby. They kept trying. The EMS kept trying to give him some kind of medical service, and he says, "You've been cut somewhere." And he goes, "No, no, that was the other guy's arm that got cut. I'm fine." And so they move this over here a second. So the cops came and proceeded to say, well, what happened? And he explained that he cut down the arm to get loose of the chokehold. And he said, what'd you use? So this goes, what is that? And he goes, that is a stealth defender. And it's a self-defense tool. And so the policeman grabs it, looks at it, and says, well, I'm going to have to keep this for evidence. No problem. As I've always said, if your tool gets taken away or they want you to confiscate, they want to confiscate it, they don't know what it is, but they don't like it, fine, give it to them. It's not worth getting arrested for. I'll send you another one for free. Just that easy. So the stealth defender, that story is an amazing story. It's been told many times by me, mostly, I guess. But yeah, these things really, really work. And I'm going to make a whole bunch more stories. So I'll see you on the back side of this one. And I'm Peter C. Brusso. And I will see you in the real world or on the map, maybe. Who knows? It's just amazing. We've had so many people utilize this tool because it's so low profile, sits in your hand with that
Absolutely.
point and that edge coming out. Man, this offset, everything backwards for me here. Offset tail goes down between fingers, and man, people just come right off you in a heartbeat. It's an amazing little tool. And it was an accident. It was made by me by an accident. I was making another tool and it broke. And oh man, I got part of a handle, but look at this, and I said, wait a second, if I do this, and this, I got a new tool. Thus the stealth became
Yes.
available. Then to be able to put our kanji on it too,
Yeah.
that they personalize it. Oh yeah. You know, I could see a large family buying all these with their family name on the darn thing.
Absolutely. There's
The
so many ways we can do
Brussos.
this.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
Brussos. Yeah, I might do that myself. That's not a bad idea. But
Sure.
there you go. Okay, so let's try to get some fan mail in here. Let me bring this up. All right. The first question comes up. The how do I get kanji on my tool purchase? Well, um, currently there, when you buy a tool, you can go to add-ons under the Defender's purchase URL, and under add-ons you can add a kanji. You just have to tell us what tool to put it on, and right now it'll be a stamp, a brand until we get yours up and running. um, Next question came in, if I order the tie-dye tool option, how long before I get it? And this comes from Michael P. And Michael, when we make them, it takes a couple 3 days for everything to dry. We put a coat on it, so it'll be about 3 days, we think, basically. Next one comes in from Heather H. And is where do I get the crystals? Well, we answered that, Heather. Go to the next one. Why do you have your website on the drink coasters? Comes from Bob M. Well, Bob, uh, we want to make sure that you can get back to the website should you need any tools or replacements. And having that website sitting on a drink coaster just sits in plain sight. It isn't anything other than that. And so we put it on there like you would have gotten it from when you go to um, a convention. They give you drink coasters with their web address on it. So it kind of fits in the motif of, it's somebody else's website, not yours, and it's not plain. That's particularly why you picked up a drink coaster for a reason.
Yeah. You had mentioned to me as a possible where
We'll put it on the back. Yes.
we put it on the back.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
we were able to engrave it. So if somebody did want a personalized coaster that from your sets with, say, a kanji, we could put that on the back.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we have a lot of possibilities.
So, got another question. What is my connection with the FEB, the First Earth Battalion? That's a long answer. Basically, Colonel Channon, and you can go on YouTube and look up crazy rulers of the world, and there's three of them. That begins to tell you a good overview of what the First Earth Battalion is about, how it used remote viewing, how it got into all of these spoon bendings, crystals, even the entourage of different things. So I got involved in that, and I was also involved, which wasn't connected to Colonel Channon, was the remote viewing out of SRI, Stanford Research Institute. And as an engineer and a scientist type person, being involved with 32 of the best remote viewers in the nation, we gathered together. And this happened via my connection um, through a gentleman who's now dead, through McDonnell Douglas. He worked directly for the VP of McDonnell Douglas. So that's a little bit of history there. His name was Jack Houck, and Jack was hired to specifically look at psychokinesis and bending metals with your mind. And so he did all the metallurgy of metal rods of various types before and after these bending parties, metal bending parties, and then he started his whole spoon bending parties um, out of LA every weekend before it was even known what the heck was going on. And I've got all those original papers here. And so, and everybody kept saying, I got to meet Jack. And I met him in a top secret security clearance area. And boy, did we data dump back and forth and back and forth. So it was really, really cool. So that's my connection with the Feb. And other than I mean, Colonel Channon's dead. I think people in the mainstream of Feb, I might be the only surviving member right now. So we'll see what happens with that. And a follow-up question to that, do you do remote viewing? The answer is yes. I'm not a big specialist in remote viewing, but I know how to do it and have done some. But more importantly, what I took from Colonel Channon first had a guy in Vietnam. He ran 2 tours out in the jungle, and you put a point man out in front of you. And the point man's job is, if he's not intuitive, he tripwires, you know, an explosive and blows himself up, or he gets ambushed first before the platoon does because he's out 300 or 400 meters. And so, but and Colonel Channon noticed that there were some people he could put out on point that would call him up and say, I don't feel good about this. There's something not right over here, 100 meters that way. And Colonel Channon would take that into account. And sure enough, there was an ambush there. And so they could flank it and take it out. And so Colonel Channon thought, how could what were they using to be able to sense all this stuff? And could he package it to teach the Army how to utilize these not psychokinesis, but psychological tools against the enemy? Thus started his big travel with trying to figure out all the counterculture and all the stuff up and down the coast of California he did. Well, I always use that in fighting. If I'm going to fight an opponent, and I think a lot of this will ring true for you as well as an officer on the street, you can kind of just get in their head. What are you feeling coming off of them? And you might even see pictures. And I was just telling Renee, I said, have you ever been driving down the road? And I'm sure the answer is yes, she has. Driving down the freeway, all of us have had something similar to this, where all of a sudden you realize this car over here is going to pull right in front of you. You start braking. There's no indication yet. There's no turn signal. There's no swerving, nothing. You just start automatically braking, and sure enough, they come right into your lane. Had you not started braking, you could have been in an accident. We've all had that. Well, how'd that happen? Well, you were a good key energy receiver, and they were a good key energy projector. you happen to be in a quiet moment where you weren't transmitting like I am now, talk, 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 right? Shut the heck up. And you can capture their images that they're throwing out. Well, so when I fight people on the mat or otherwise, I project what I want them to see. And so I start to do it, and they immediately respond with their training the wrong way. Done. They are out of there. And so I've changed it to local viewing. And I think there's some people coining that term too. But my Mental Warrior book up on Amazon, a shameless plug here, teaches you all the levels and how to do this. And when I do classes, I actually take them to Winco out here and we walk through and read minds of the shoppers. And it's amazing once they really get engaged in it, what they come up with. And we can we can validate a good portion of it. And it's like, wow. And I said, the first thing you learn is you can't use it on your wife or husband. That's an illegal call. You can't get in their head because there's absolutely no peace in that marriage.
Hey,
So,
what fun is that?
well, I understand that, but and by the way, it knows no distance and also it knows no time, which is another interesting thing. So there's a little bit about that's the fan mail for this week. So there you go. All right, Harry, any questions, any comments? What are we doing
You know
next
what?
week?
I love the what you just were talking about, and if they didn't see Monastery Coats, that'll also give some insight to
Oh,
what
yeah.
you were just talking about from your fan mail. Any of you who hasn't seen it, and that Mental Warrior book, I've read it. It's fantastic, and I definitely agree. I think that we have a tendency not to believe our
Yeah.
senses, and if you go with your senses, I believe it gets stronger. You actually start fine tuning, because you believe what you're actually feeling and it brings you back to your primal, like animals and everything else.
Yep.
How do they know? It's the same thing. We're the same. It's our own distractions that block us from being able to utilize our senses. And how many times did you just get this feeling that something
Isn't right.
people know, and that's why you step away. While you get yourself in the ready, you get this feeling, and women especially, they get these feelings.
Intuition.
They're
Women's
big
intuition.
time, and
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And they've been trained not to follow it.
But that's the exact opposite of what they
What you
need.
need, yeah, what we need to do is empower them. I've been doing that for 40 years,
Sure.
and it's strange. um I have a friend on Second Life, and she was explaining to me that I always should follow my first intuition. I go, where'd you learn that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm going like, wow, and she's not into any of this stuff, and she
yeah.
comes right up with it too. There's
Absolutely.
evidence in plain sight, not to
Sure.
coin a political term these days, but
Yeah,
in this case, it truly is. Follow your instincts, follow your intuition. Yeah,
sure.
a large percentage of the time it will be correct. There'll be sometimes it is not, or
Yeah.
will in fact come into play.
Well, when safety is concerned, you really want to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're dealing with your trusted, if it doesn't feel right, there's a high chance it might not be right. It might be, but if you feel something, go with it.
Go with it. The other great movie is The Secret, and
I love it.
I was
Watched it with
showing
you many
my
times.
brother. He can't believe when we drive to these doctor's appointments and this and
Yeah,
that. I said, just watch. A spot will come right up, in a minute, or already
yeah,
be there. And it always is. He goes, wow,
yeah,
how does this work? You go over to the VA, right? And it's all
yeah.
crowded over there. I mean, you park way the heck out. And no, not
Sure.
us. We park almost at the front door. And it's all done by The Secret. And now the strange thing is it just happens automatically for me. I don't have to think about it. It just seems to happen. Like, whoa, when did this start to occur? Even Dr. Sam, my personal physician up north, we used to go once a week to Bend, Oregon, to Costco up there, and he always had to park way out. And I said, no, 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 no more. We park right here, within six car lengths of the front door. Oh, that can't be. We did it every week. I said, would you like to park at the first one next week? Yeah, yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, we did it, and it's just amazing. So if people
Yeah,
don't know about these things, they ought to look at the Goats movie where Clooney plays me
yeah,
in real
yeah.
life, and then look at The Secret because there's a lot of technology in there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Harry. Well, thank you so much. Say good night, Harry, or good afternoon, Harry.
Good night, guys.
All
Thanks for
right.
having me again, Peter.
All right. We'll talk to you hopefully next week or the week after.
Yes, sir.